A little over a year ago, my life was heading down a path that I didn't like. I had so many things I did enjoy and that I do think are markers of success. I had a good high-paying job, a beautiful house, I have a wonderful family, a loving husband, and yet I still felt like within me, something personally wasn't there. I wasn't reaching my full potential. I didn't feel like not only that I wasn't making a difference, but that I really wasn't doing anything. And that feeling led me to make a decision to just take a little break from alcohol. I thought maybe my drinking was a little bit out of control at the time, and a short break, maybe a reset, would help fix things and get things back to normal. And when I made that decision, it wasn't a plan to be sober for the rest of my life. I wasn't planning on doing a 1-year alcohol-free journey or anything like that. I really was thinking I would do maybe 30 days and then after that get back to drinking, but in a more normal way, so to speak. Because of the experiences that I felt, it has led me to now being over 14 months alcohol-free. I also have no plan of bringing alcohol back into my life, at least not anytime soon, because of the changes I've made, because of the differences I've experienced. I am, not to be dramatic, but I am a completely different person than I was 14 months ago. My life looks so different, and it is hard for me to even relate to and connect to the person I once was. So I wanted to make this video for anyone else that is sober curious themselves, that is maybe wondering what a life without alcohol might look like for them. I hope talking about my experience is helpful for someone out there. If you're considering it, be sure to watch this video. I'm gonna go through everything that I've kind of experienced and what got me to this point. So let's talk about my before. Where was I before I made the decision to stop drinking? I get questions from people asking if I was an alcoholic, and I don't know exactly how to answer that question. I was definitely headed down that path. For my drinking, I was drinking, I would say 4 to 5 times a week, which is a lot. I mean, every Friday and every Saturday I was drinking, and then I would also drink a few times during the week. Now, it wasn't at the point where I would be missing work the next day or anything like that because of my drinking, but it was at a point where on my way home from work, I would stop and get a bottle of wine and drink a whole bottle of wine in a night. I would drink with friends, I would drink with family, and I would drink by myself. Even if it was just going to be me for the night, I would have a bottle of wine with dinner by myself. I just would turn to drinking for a lot of things. Like I would drink to celebrate, I would drink for occasions like a birthday or a party or a wedding, but also if I had a really bad day at work, I would grab wine and have it that night. It was at a point where it just was such a big part of my life. It just became such a habit that I felt like I was always turning to. My tipping point was after a weekend where I went to a brew week. There was a bunch of breweries and I went and did this whole like festival thing. I was with one of my best friends from college, and her and I had a blast. We were drinking a lot Friday, drinking all day Saturday, and I woke up Sunday morning, July 21st, 2024, and just remember waking up and thinking, I want to take a break from alcohol. Like I felt like crap that morning. I already felt the dread of the week that was coming ahead, the work week. And you waste your whole weekend. I mean, at least I was, and I wasn't accomplishing anything I needed to like set myself up for the week. It wasn't like I was cleaning or doing anything productive. I just was spending so much time drinking and then losing all of that time. So kind of woke up, made the decision. The plan wasn't to take some big break from alcohol. It was truly to do what I thought at the time would be just like a mini reset. And then I was thinking after this short reset, I could get back to drinking, back to normal, back to enjoying myself. And that then it would be more tamed down and that I wouldn't be, as extreme of a drinker, drinking as much. That was kind of the plan initially, and it has just snowballed ever since. The first 30 days was rough. It took a while for me to kind of get back to my normal self, I would say. And this had been, years of drinking without having a significant break. I really had just been so used to drinking for so long that I think my body was kind of trying to adapt to a normal state, so to speak. In the beginning, I felt an exhaustion that I hadn't felt in a long time, which shocked me because I was like, I gave up alcohol. Shouldn't I feel so much better? It's not immediate, so don't think that it is. I was so tired. I was sleeping like 10 to 12 hours a night in the beginning. And I remember thinking, I'm going to start drinking again if this is how bad it is to stop. After kind of the exhaustion and kind of an addition to that, I would say is my mood was less stable. I felt like I was really agitated easily. Like I would get irritated by things. My cravings were insane. Like I was crushing red velvet bundt cake. Desserts in general. I mean, I'm a huge dessert person. I love desserts. But initially, after giving up alcohol, I had such a sweet tooth, which I think is because I wasn't having the sugars and stuff from wine. And I just could not get enough dessert. All of that in mind, even with all of the eating of the desserts and everything, I lost 6 pounds within the first 38 days after I stopped drinking. That is crazy. And I've been someone who struggled with my weight for a long time. And that was kind of the point at which I started feeling a little bit better. Like I was sleeping better. I was going to sleep way easier than I had been even before I stopped drinking. I was starting to feel more well rested. And then I noticed that I was losing the weight even though I was eating so much more. And that's kind of when things started to shift. And I was like, okay, I think there are some good benefits to this, and I want to continue seeing where this thing could go. And that's kind of when I made the decision to try to do it for even longer. And I made the decision to redo 75 hard, which was a whole thing in itself. And I have other videos about that. It's not what I want to focus on here, but you can't drink during that. So it also helped me continue not drinking. And the not drinking truly is where I credit all of this other success from. In the beginning of the sobriety journey, especially when things are really tough and when you haven't had enough time to see all the benefits that come from being sober, I think it's so important to have a good community and a lot of resources to keep you going. As far as the resources and what has helped for me in my own sobriety journey, number one is the community of people around you. I know not everyone in their personal life will have this, but if you do have friends or family you really trust and can confide in that you think will be supportive of your journey, lean on them as much as you can. I leaned on my husband a ton, especially in the early days. I mean, I live with him, so it's really important for the person that you live with to kind of be on board and be supportive. But even if they aren't, I do think you could still use some other resources. I also have friends and family that I told and opened up to about it. I don't see them as much as I see my husband, but they're also very supportive, celebrating my milestones, just being a rock for me. I also downloaded the I Am Sober app. This isn't sponsored by them or anything. It is just an app I found that I really liked. It tracked how many days sober I was, so that was very nice to see, just like a visual representation. It also had daily journal prompts where you could really reflect about and think about your drinking habits and what it's done or how it's impacted your life. So especially in the beginning, I was doing my daily journal prompts every single day when I really needed the extra support and the extra help. They also have a community board where people that are also going through a sober journey can write and kind of reflect on their thoughts. So that was really nice for me to see, and it was helpful for me to read what other people were experiencing just to know that I wasn't alone. I also have read a ton of sober books. Quit Lit is what it's also referred to. In fact, let me show you some. Here is just a little stack of the books I have. I have gotten rid of some. My favorite book is Smashed. I've read this multiple times, but if you're just starting out on your sober journey, I would recommend either The Unexpected Joy of Being Sober or This Naked Mind. These are both good starter books. I liked The Sober Diaries as well. Matthew Perry's book, I didn't love, and I do feel like it's very sad because, you know, he has passed away because of his addictions. I've also read Quit Like a Woman, and I hated that book. I just did not enjoy it at all. So there's tons of books out there. I was obsessively reading sobriety books at the beginning of my journey just because I wanted to really learn as much as I could. And I think it's really helpful to just like understand other people's experiences. I also would watch YouTube videos and stuff of people talking about being sober. I've listened to podcast episodes about people talking about being sober, like celebrities, like Lucy Hale, for instance, has talked about her sobriety before. I know Megan Fox has spoken about her sobriety. I would just seek out as much information as I can about other people getting sober. I felt like that was very helpful for me. After the first 30 days, life does become a lot easier and being sober becomes a lot easier. It's no longer something that consumes my mind. I really hardly think of drinking at all anymore. It used to be at the point where weekend equals drinking. I think it takes some time to disassociate those kind of links in your mind, but now 14 months later, it's gone. I mean, for me, I've replaced it with other things I like and want to do more and that bring me more joy, like my YouTube channel. And now I look forward to the weekend so that I can work on my YouTube and do other stuff that I'm passionate about and work out and spend time with my husband. These are things that have replaced the act and the celebration or ritual of drinking, if you will. I mean, I feel like it's so ingrained in our society that it takes some time to kind of unravel that, but it does get easier with time. I think with anything, time can make it easier, and the more time that passes without you drinking, I think the less the cravings are. At least that's how I've experienced it. There have been so many benefits to getting sober. I mean, the biggest benefit I would say is the time I have. I feel like I have so much time. I never used to have enough. Weekends, for instance, feel long now. I have a lot of time to do things, to accomplish things, to rest, to recover, to work out, to clean, to do whatever I want. I just feel like the world has kind of opened up to me. My relationships with like my husband and my family and my closest friends have improved because I am more present. I am just, I think, a better person now. I know I'm a better person now. I am a better version of myself now that I don't drink than I was when I did drink. I can be a better spouse, and I can be a better sister and daughter and friend, and I can just be more intentional. Again, because I have so much more time now. As far as like physical changes go, I've lost a lot of weight, and I know a lot of that's also the diet and exercise, but those things have only changed because I gave up drinking. Like, I truly link all of those changes to the decision of me giving up alcohol because it gave me the energy and the time and the space to make these other better changes. It's a lot of calories also, so I've cut out those calories, and also not being hungover helps with your discipline to then work out and to make good food decisions. So all of these things I think are so intertwined. The sleep component as well. Before I stopped drinking, I never could just lay down and go to sleep. And I can do that now. Like, it's very rare that I lay on my bed and like toss and churn before I go to bed now. And that used to be a nightly occurrence. Like, most nights now, I'll read a little before bed, I shut my book, I turn the lights off, I'm to sleep. That is crazy, and it has been so nice and so refreshing. There are some cons that I've noticed to giving up drinking as well that I do want to touch on. It can be isolating to not drink. It can be tough to be at social engagements like a wedding or a work happy hour or another event that revolves around drinking, which I feel like so many events do have such a big focus on the drinking component, and it can just feel a little isolating to be the one person that's not drinking. So that has been something I've just been trying to adjust to. It's taken just trying to be more confident in myself to not be drinking, but it's something I would say is a con for sure. I also do have a few friends that I've kind of lost touch with at this point and have barely connected with in the past year. And it's because a lot of our friendship was revolving around us drinking. I loved a girls' night, a girls' wine night, and I loved drinking with friends and hanging out and gossiping late. And I do miss that. And I don't know if that's weird to say or admit, but it's something I do kind of miss, the togetherness, so to speak, of those occasions. But even with those cons in mind, I mean, I would not go back to drinking just for those. Like, the pros way outweigh the cons, and overall my life is so much better without drinking. So if you're someone that's curious about experiencing life without alcohol, I have some tips that I would suggest. Starting off, do not make a huge lofty goal of, a lifetime without drinking or a year without drinking. Really give yourself just some time to experience it in the beginning and see the results and kind of move on from there. I think if I had set out initially with the goal of being sober for a year, I probably would have quit and been overwhelmed. But I think try to aim for 30 days at least to start, and know that the beginning is going to be rougher. Know that you need to get past the initial struggles while your body adapts to life without drinking to then experience the benefits. And I think if you do that and you go in with that mindset of, I want to try, a 30-day or a 60-day or whatever, like reset, and then let yourself really experience and see the benefits, I think you will be surprised by how much better you feel and feel encouraged to keep going. I also will say communicating your intentions with people around you, just sharing that you want to cut back on alcohol and that you want to, try being alcohol free. If you can even get a friend or a family member to do a break from alcohol with you, I think having support and having a community is so crucial. If you don't have someone in your personal life, try finding someone online, try joining or paying for the I Am Sober app, or going to an AA meeting. Find some sort of community, whether that be in person or virtual, that you can lean on. As far as social events go, be realistic with what may trigger you. In the beginning, I did say no to social engagements. I did say no to certain events, like certain parties and work happy hours that I just knew I wasn't ready to go to yet. So be realistic with yourself and don't put yourself in an unnecessarily hard situation. It's the same where if you're on a diet, you shouldn't buy donuts and sweets to just keep around your house that you then need to have willpower to say no to. Don't buy it in the first place. Like, don't go to the event in the first place if you think it could be a potential trigger for you or that you're really going to struggle there. And be okay with, in the short term, missing some things. It's just going to make your life easier if you're not like continually testing your willpower and stuff in the beginning. And trust me, it will get easier over time. If you are in those events, having something to hold will make your life easier. Get a mocktail, get a ginger ale, get a club soda. Have something that you can hold in your hand, because I do find, and I think it's well-meaning, but if you're not holding anything, at least I've experienced in my social circles, people will come up to me and be like, oh, I can buy you a drink. Do you want a beer? Do you want this? Do you want to, let's do a shot. If you have something in your hand, people don't really say anything. And realistically, like, the eyes aren't on you then, and people will just assume that you're having a drink. So that can make it a lot easier. Was it worth it? It has been the best decision I've ever made to take a break from alcohol. I am so different than I used to be, and I love the person I am now. It's hard for me to really look back and think about who I was 15 months ago and how I was spending my time and how I was spending my weekends, and even just, where my relationships were, where my work ethic was. It's really hard to think back to that version of myself, because I knew I didn't love where I was at the time, but like, now that I've experienced all of the great benefits that have come, it almost makes me like sad to think, what if I had never made this decision and gotten here? So yes, the long answer short is yes, it was so worth it. I would make this decision again and again. I don't have any plans to bring back drinking in my life. I mean, that's not to say I'll never do it again. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But as of today, I'm sitting here with no plans to drink in the future. I am just loving so much where my life has gone and how I've been able to accomplish things, accomplish my goals, and do things I didn't think I'd be able to do because of the decision to give up drinking. So If you're thinking about it, I highly, highly recommend giving it a try. What do you have to lose by taking a break from drinking? Nothing. And you have so much to gain. So I hope this video was helpful. Let me know if you have any other questions in the comments below, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye.